Welcome, TechMod 6, to another semester of technical modules. If you log into Canvas, you should be able to see a Technical Module 6 Spring 2016 course. If you do not, please do send me an email so that I can get that problem corrected. So what I'm going to talk about today is some course information, and then a couple of kind of projects that we have that are due for the course. And everything that I'm about to show you is also located on this crosstraining.planetj.org site. So if you go there, you can navigate to the TechMods link up at the top. Go over here to TechMod 6. And then everything that is here is also mirrored on Canvas. So I'm going to go back to our Canvas course, and the first thing we want to take a look at is our course syllabus. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that link, and it should take you to this page here, and to the right side I have my zoom in and zoom out control, so I'm just going to zoom in here. So Technical Module 6 focuses on the exploration and research of digital analog tools supporting landscape architecture and regional community planning. Sometimes we can have some planners enrolled in the course, so expect to have some planners also in the course. This semester we don't have any. I am the instructor facilitator, and what that means is I'm not necessarily the instructor, but I can facilitate for there to be other instructors who could also instruct in the course. In the past, we used to have guest demonstrators that would come in and do guest demos and presentations for the class. Last year, we found that model to be a bit unsustainable, as only one person came in to do a guest demo, and pretty much everyone else said they just didn't have time to do it. So this year, we kind of changed the course a little bit to try to make it a bit more sustainable. This course is 1 credit hour. It has 2 sections. Section A are those students who are here on campus in Seton Hall, and for those students we were supposed to meet the very first day, but due to an unexpected pipe burst at APD West, those students will kind of be merged up with Section B and do digital delivery only for the first day. So we do have 2 sections, and it's really not going to matter too much if you're in Section A or B. You'll still receive the same quality of education and the same content. And as I go through the syllabus a bit more and explain the 2 major projects that we have for the course, you'll see why that is. Course description. Technical Module 6 is the last course in the 6th semester technology sequence. Unlike the content of prior TechMod courses, where content was determined by the instructor to support advancement through the curriculum. So if you remember TechMod 1 and 2, the content was pretty much predetermined. There's a lot of hand-holding in that course. TechMod 3 and 4, we kind of step away a little bit, give you some more room to do your own personal explorations and allow you to be a little bit more resourceful. But still, there was a lot of kind of predetermined content. TechMod 5 focused a lot more on specialization studios. And now TechMod 6 is going to be probably the most flexible and kind of self-directed type of course. So the content for this course, as I've mentioned, is more flexible, it's more self-directed, and it's derived from your personal interests and needs. And what that basically means is, for example, you may be interested in photography, and if you notice, it's not exactly a required course in the curriculum. We don't really have a design studio that focuses on this, nor do we have any tech mods that focus on photography. But if this is something that you're really interested in wanting to learn, that is certainly a topic that you can choose to research in Technical Module 6. And the last one here says needs, so maybe there's something that you really need to learn because you want to get into a particular firm, and maybe they're asking for you to have at least some foundational knowledge in Rhino and Revit because it's an interdisciplinary firm that is ran by architects. So it may be that you may decide to spend TechMod 6 just learning the basics of Rhino and Revit so you can get your foot in the door with that firm. For most students, content modules will support investigations of their master's project or thesis. So in the past, usually about half the class chooses something that's directly related to their master's work just to save time. For other students, this course will be an opportunity to simply explore the use of new analog or digital tools tuned to specific or advanced topics of interest, or be an opportunity to revisit prior tools as a means to refresh or deepen knowledge. General student learning outcomes. Student learning outcomes, again, are student-driven. This course is composed of two major components: demonstrations, and it should say / presentations, and self-directed investigative research. General student learning outcomes are to strengthen existing digital and analog skill sets and concepts through synthesis. So this is where you take everything that you've already learned so far and you apply it to some sort of project that you're working on, and maybe take it a little bit, a step further. Number 2, evaluate and analyze software and or hardware features not covered in previous tech mods. So as you know, tech mod's only a 1 to 2 credit hour course. It only meets for about 2 hours a week, and there's no way that you can receive any kind of mastery in any one tool. And to make matters worse, we can only pre-select a certain set of tools. We have to kind of narrow down the list, and there's so many different types of software that we would love to teach you, but we just simply can't because we're just really limited on time. So this is an opportunity where you can find something. So it may be Civil 3D, even though we have covered that before, but we don't really explore lotting in Civil 3D or the stormwater tools. There's a lot of other tools, and we're just barely scratching the surface with Civil 3D, but unfortunately, that's all the time that we have. The same thing with GIS. We just do suitability analysis, and depending upon what you do in Professor Chamberlain's class, you may be just barely scratching the surface of that tool, and you may decide, well, I would like to go a little bit further with that tool. So this is an opportunity here to basically take a tool and dig deeper. Number 3, explore the use of tools currently used in the landscape architecture and regional community planning curricula and access their potential to advance the body of knowledge in the professions. So basically, you're going to take a tool and maybe use it in a way that nobody has ever thought of using before to advance maybe a workflow process that landscape architects need to do. This one is pretty open to a lot of creativity. The demonstration presentation content is driven by individual student interests and needs. Students individually decide upon their research tool investigations. And more information on this will be given in 2 separate PDFs for each of the components of the course. So I'm going to scroll down here to course communication. K-State Online, powered by Canvas, and ksu.edu email addresses will be the primary communication tools used throughout the course. Email will be sent to ksu.edu email addresses only. Email should be checked 3 times a day for updates sent by any instructors. When and where to submit assignments will be delivered in the course announcements. So this is why you want to check your email often to make sure you're not missing any kind of critical detail about where to submit things. And it may be, I forgot to open a Dropbox, and you try to go to submit and you find it's not open. So you may send me an email, and then I'll have to mass email everybody letting them know that the box wasn't open and now that it's open, sort of thing. It happens. Q&A will be implemented using the discussion tool in Canvas. So I've turned on discussion for our course, and this will provide the opportunity for you guys to kind of have online conversations with each other. I don't moderate what goes on in the discussion, so I'll just hope that everybody will be work appropriate for this. So you just don't have time to do that. Course materials, schedule, assignments, and grades will be evaluated on the K-State Online course page. So as you know, we have the cross-training website, and grades will not be posted there. You'll have to go to the K-State Online site onto Canvas to take a look at your grades. So if you don't remember where that's at, Recall on the left side we have a grades button here. You can click on that to view your individual grade. A very important aspect of the technical module courses is for everyone to learn how to become independent and confident lifelong learners in an ever-changing technology-dependent world. Now we'll let you know that software vendors will update their software every single year. Yeah, it can be a real big pain, because what this means is that you're going to have to keep your skill sets up to date every single year. And of course, you know, we're not going to have tech mods after graduation. So this is something that you'll have to try to keep up and maintain on your own. So hopefully, you know, as part of Tech Mod 6, you'll also spend some time just kind of documenting where there are some good resources online. Of course, the free ones are the best, but if you can't find the free ones, then you'll have to, of course, pay for some tutorials or subscribe to some sites to keep your skills up to date. So we'll let you know this is kind of really important, because you'll have to do this at least 2 times, if not 3 times, throughout your professional career. And of course, it depends on, you know, how many firms that you go to work to. Usually at entry level, they hire you to do the technology aspects of the design work in the firm, and then you kind of work your way up the chain of command, and you do kind of less of that, and you do mostly project leadership, project management. Even though technology continually evolves, a certain portion of your future career time should be reserved for maintaining awareness of technological advances, and if appropriate, updating technical skills as an informed mentor or leader. This course is structured to support this new learning structure. So there are 2 major components to the this particular Tech Mod course, structured to design to help with your investigations. So these are the 2 major components. So pretty close to half your grade is this, and the other half of your grade is this. So the first component is the investigative research. So students will be asked to choose software or hardware tools they wish to investigate. So when I say analog and digital, I'm saying that this is the digital aspect and this is the analog aspect of tools. The choice of tools can be related to your master's project thesis work or support other personal interests. Tools can be digital or analog in nature. So we had one student who wanted to explore the printing press, which is perfectly fine. Investigations might include methodologies, techniques, materials, relationships, and/or education. So some people, you know, they want to go out and teach. So this is an opportunity for you to explore that avenue. They should identify challenges posed in landscape architecture and/or regional community planning, and how your investigative research of a particular tool might advance the body of knowledge of the profession. So basically, you're taking a tool and you're exploring a way in which it can make things better for landscape architects. A summary report finalizing your research findings will be due at the end of the semester. This report can contain a combination of written and/or graphic information. So I do have kind of a separate kind of task assignment for this that explains this in a lot more detail. I don't want to go into too much detail about this in the course syllabus. But one thing I do want to mention, this is where students tend to kind of mess up towards the end of the semester, is that there is a final submission involved with this component, and it involves the submission of a PDF and a plot. And if you do not submit both, you get a 0 for this half. And of course that's half your grade, so you don't pass Tech Mod 6. And I get a lot of people who get upset over this, even though it's clearly stated here. So this semester I've highlighted this in red, so you can't mess this up. Hopefully nobody will mess this up. I mean, if I could make this text flashing in this PDF, I would, but I can't. Second component, or second part, is the demonstration presentations. And I kind of call it demonstrations presentations because it can be a mixture of both, or one or the other, as I kind of have indicated here. So up to 10 demonstration and/or presentations will need to be attended. Students are expected to identify which demonstration and/or presentations they wish to attend. There is the potential of using class time for student-given presentations for up to 2 demonstrations 50 minutes each. So if you're one of those who decides that you want to give a demonstration instead of going to demonstrations, you can give one up to 50 minutes, or you can give one up to an hour and 50 minutes. If your presentation is only 30 minutes, that's fine. The reason why I'm saying this is because usually if you have a presentation that runs an hour, people kind of, they need to go to the bathroom and take a break. They get kind of a little bit bored. So if you do have one that needs to run for a couple hours, make sure that you incorporate a break. If your presentation is only 15, 20, or 30 minutes long, that's fine as well. But we only have a 2-hour time block for this TechMod 6 course, and that's why the max amount of time is this here. Students are expected to choose a minimum of 10 demonstration presentations. Attending the first TechMod 6 meeting is required and counts as the first demonstration. Obviously, due to the pipe burst, nobody is really able to attend this, so we're going to count this online one as the first demonstration, and I'll explain a little bit later on how you can get graded for that. Online students will need to attend the digital version of the first day of class given in the form of a video. So pretty much everybody will need to do this, not just the digital students only, or the online students. Afterwards, students are free to choose 9 more demonstration presentations, best meeting their learning objectives. If any demonstration presentations are given in class, they will be recorded for long-distance learners. So you'll just have to be a little bit aware that if you're one of those who want to give a presentation, we'll need to record it for those who are in KCDC. If you are not a long-distance learning student, you should physically attend any in-class demonstration presentations. Students are encouraged to, you can of course attend more than 9 if you want to, but I'm only going to grade up to 9. At the end of the demonstration presentation, students will need to submit a summary report. Details on how to complete and submit a summary report will be covered in the summary report assignments. So I'm not going to go into too much detail here since this is just the course syllabus, but I will explain how to submit a summary report assignment, which I have in a separate PDF, so that you can get credit for this very first day. The next part of the syllabus is the evaluation section. Now, grading for this TechMod is kind of really weird, and some people are really not accustomed to it, and sometimes they get a little bit frustrated. So I've kind of made it a little bit more detailed description on exactly how the evaluation occurs in this course. I'm someone who firmly doesn't really like the grading system, but unfortunately that's the system that the university operates on. So I try to avoid doing, a lot of assigning of B, C's, D's, and F's and sort of things. I mean, if I had my choice, I would prefer to just give everybody an A. And my evaluation method kind of relies on that a little bit, I guess. It's kind of driven by that, kind of motivated by that. So evaluation in this course follows kind of a modified SE2R method. Many of you may not be very familiar with this kind of method of evaluating or delivering content, but this is the method that I prefer to use. The acronym, it's actually an acronym, it stands for something, is summary, explanation, redirect, and resubmit. So this is kind of an iterative kind of process. The process first begins, of course, with you submitting something. I will open your PDF and read through it very carefully. Of course, the very first 5 or so assignments, it may take me a little bit time to return it back to you because I like to read everything very carefully. So once I get it, I will send you an email indicating that I have evaluated your project and kind of give you a summary of some of the issues that I found with it and some of the things that I think you did really well. I won't go into a lot of detail in the email summary, but I will go into a lot of detail in your PDF in the form of markups. So if you open, I'll usually send you an email with your PDF attached, and it'll have a lot of markups in there with suggestions on fixes that you should implement. Now, as far as actually implementing these fixes, this is entirely up to you. You're pretty much 5th years now, you're in your final semester, so you'll need to make a judgment call. A lot of times, I've had students in the past get upset from the comments that I make. They say that I totally, completely did not understand their project and they didn't feel that the comments really applied to their project. And if you do get comments like that, I would actually kind of sit down and sit back and kind of think about that for a little bit. Because you have to kind of remember that I don't know anything about your project. And if someone else is reading, your abstract and they're not getting it either, there's a good chance they're not going to get it either, is what I'm trying to say. So don't get upset, from the comments. It's not going to affect your grade at all because, like I said, this is kind of an iterative process here. So if you receive comments and it makes you angry like that, I would just think about, why am I not understanding this? Is there a critical piece of information that you might be missing in your abstract? So once I write up the explanations in the PDF, I will send you an email with your PDF with the attached PDF with the comments attached to it. And you'll basically need to make corrections. So you'll need to read everything carefully. And like I've mentioned earlier, if something doesn't seem right, ask yourself why the grader would comment in such a way. Is there missing critical information in your text? Or maybe an image is just not communicating what it needs to communicate. And then the next step is to resubmit your work. So let's just say the first one happens to be your abstract. You submit it and the comments are just way out there. It's totally not what you were trying to communicate. So that doesn't mean that you're going to get a 0 for the abstract portion. What it simply means is that you have the opportunity to resubmit it. So this gives you the opportunity to have an ongoing dialogue with the grader to make sure that things are the way that you want them to be. And once things are the way that they should be, then a grade is assigned. So rarely ever does anybody get an investigative research progress check of less than 30 points. And then the final submission, after we go through all of this, there'll be 10 of these investigative research progress checks, which will go through kind of this iterative process here, this iterative grading cycle. And then you'll receive 10 of these, so 10 times 30 is 300 points for that. And then finally you'll have your final findings and which will include your PDF and your plot, which is worth 250 points. The second half of the course is the demonstration and presentation. So each summer report is worth 50 points, which will total up to be 500 points. So this is the total points that are for the course. So as you can see, if you don't submit your PDF and plot, you'll lose all of these points here. And you only get 500 out of 1050, which will pretty much prevent you from passing the course. So the grading scale is as follows. Typical grading scale. The next section is on attendance. So I've stated here that student attendance is required for the first TechMod meeting. Well, due to our pipe burst, obviously this does not apply. So I would just ignore this. If you are taking the course online, the first course meeting will be recorded and uploaded to Canvas for your review later. So this kind of is going to apply to everybody since we didn't have a first course meeting. Thereafter, attendance is optional. To be honest with you, we will very rarely ever physically meet in the lab unless we have someone who wants to give a presentation. And you'll see that a little bit later when I go over the 2 components of the course. But the lab will be reserved for our use between 12:30 and 2:30 on Tuesdays. So if you want to use a lab during that time, you are more than welcome to do that. If we do have a demonstration presentation that's given during TechMod 6 time, and you do choose to attend it to have it count as one of your 9, I would ask that you arrive on time and not leave early to kind of respect the demonstrator. Late work and attendance policy. Late work is not accepted. However, there may be a serious need, such as illness, injury, family emergency, to turn in late work. If such a case occurs, please let the instructor know before missing class and or turning in a late project or assignment. Documentation of an excused absence due to illness or other matters is mandatory and may be obtained through AP Design Dean of Student Services office located in 213 Seton Hall. You are responsible for contacting the instructor to make up missing material. So, again, I want to emphasize that you want to pay really close attention to deadlines and the announcements on K-State Online. This is going to be very critical to ensure that you don't miss any vital information or deadlines. I want to talk a little bit about saving your work, and you've seen this in every course syllabus, but saving your work is going to be the most critical in your final year and your final semester in the curriculum. Now, I will let you know, just from personal experience, external hard drives or backup drives, data drives, like to die on the day of their expiration or the day right after. So if you got one of those drives that has a 3-year warranty and you're past that 3-year warranty, I would strongly consider purchasing a new drive to make sure you have at least one drive that isn't going to fail on you during the semester. What I usually do is I have 2 backup drives with data mirrored on both drives. I mean, what's the likelihood of both drives failing at the same time? So I understand, you're in your 5th and final year in school and you're kind of broke. And if that's the case, I would probably maybe investigate in doing some cloud storage. Sometimes it might be a little bit cheaper. I think there's Google Docs or something, someplace online where you can dump your files to make sure that you don't lose any critical important work this semester. So I want to let you know that I can't give you extensions. Obviously, it's your final year, so it's going to be nearly impossible for me to give you extensions. I want you to graduate. So that's why I want to stress to make sure that you do this task here and check the age of your hard drive and make sure that it's not going to die on you in your final semester. The next page talks about required materials. So obviously you'll need computer, you'll need software, plotting capabilities, and a K-State EID account to access the K-State online course. The learning resources that I recommend that you bookmark is this one here. After you graduate, you will not need your student EID to access this page at all. It simply will not. Lost my page here. Maybe it was here. Go back down to the bottom here. I would recommend bookmarking this site here because you will not need your EID or any form of login to access this content. But you will lose the stuff that is on K-State Online after you graduate. Finally, the very last page of the syllabus, which everybody calls the boilerplate. This is stuff that all professors are required to have in their course syllabus. It doesn't change too much. Sometimes they change the wording a little bit. Sometimes you rewrite some of the policies and procedures in here. But this is something that you've seen in every course syllabus thus far in the technical module sequence. The very last page talks about a statement for copyright notification. A lot of the content that you'll find on my cross-training website is copyright to me. During this course, you are prohibited from selling my notes to or get paid for taking notes by any person or commercial firm without the express permission of the professors teaching this course. All lecture material, to include digital and printed notes, videos, and exercises, are copywritten to me. Students should not redistribute lecture material or reproduce any portion without the instructor's explicit permission. However, it is okay to share the links. So this would be to share my website where such notes are posted so interested entities can obtain their own copy. Now this is actually quite important because I update my content often. So I want to make sure that if someone is interested in my content, they are getting the most recent version. Students should not modify said notes or videos without written permission from the instructor. Students currently enrolled in our TechMod 6, are permitted to annotate, doodle, and draw on any printed notes given to students by the instructors. All other students must seek written permission from the instructor to make changes to said content.